At his peak, Cornelius Vanderbilt was one of the most powerful businessmen in America. But what made him dangerous wasn't money. It was how he thought about operations. You see, Vanderbilt started in ferries and steamships, which was a highly competitive business with very low margins and constant pricing wars. But while most operators tried to protect their profits, Vanderbilt did exactly the opposite. He would cut his prices below cost, in turn running routes at a loss. Then he would wait. Why? Because he understood something that most of his competitors did not. Control of the market often beats margins long term. If he controlled the routes, controlled the schedules, and controlled the reliability, everyone else would eventually go broke. But here's the part most people miss. Vanderbilt didn't micromanage trains and ships. He obsessed over systems like cost per mile, fuel efficiency, turnaround time, and maintenance discipline. Operating at a loss forced him to manage the margins. And when you count the pennies, the dollars tend to take care of themselves. So rather than following opinions, he just let the data decide. Then he made his biggest shift. Once the steamship market matured, he decided to exit. And he poured everything he had into railroads, using the same playbook in a similar but different industry. And he used his operations mastery to consolidate lines, standardize operations, remove inefficiencies, and refuse to subsidize any of his weak competitors, effectively squeezing them out of the market. Because at his core, Vanderbilt believed that businesses don't fail from competition, they ultimately fail from bad structure. And his obsessive focus on systems and structure allowed his managers to be free to operate day to day, in turn allowing Vanderbilt to focus on bottlenecks, leverage, and control points. So here's a lesson that we can learn as great operators. Great founders don't fight battles head on. They're not fighting their competition, but instead they're redesigning the battlefield. Rather than trying to outwork his competitors, Vanderbilt won by understanding where the power actually lived and building systems that ultimately made his competitors completely irrelevant. And it's that obsessive strategy over optimizing the nuances inside of the business that turned Vanderbilt into a legend.